With new headlines in the US about this bombshell new court battle taking place next month. Worse for Meghan Markle because her sister Samantha ain't going anywhere. Lawsuit after the 44-year-old told Winfrey that she grew up as an only child during her and Prince Harry's bombshell march.
Meghan really thought she had silenced her sister forever, burying Samantha's voice deep under the weight of royal glamour and Hollywood charm. But oh no, Samantha Markle isn't the type to stay quiet. She's dragging her half-sister straight into the blazing heat of a courtroom. And this time, she's not coming empty-handed. She's got receipts, real ones.
There's another legal bout with her half-sister Samantha Markle, the Post can confirm. The Duchess of Sussex emerged victorious in early 2020.
It all started as nothing more than whispers, faint rumors tucked into the back corners of glossy tabloids, the kind you'd brush off with a sip of morning coffee. But whispers have a way of growing into storms. Now, it's not gossip anymore. It's a full-blown legal earthquake, and guess who's standing right in the epicenter? Meghan Markle herself, the Duchess of Sussex, the woman who's spent years carefully curating her global image, is suddenly facing the one challenger she never saw coming, her own half-sister, Samantha Markle.
Florida for allegedly making demonstrably false and malicious statements about her to a world audience.
Let's rewind to the first courtroom showdown. Back then, Samantha marched into court with bold claims, ready to take on her royal-turned-Hollywood sibling, but people rolled their eyes. This won't last, they said. And to be fair, judges tossed out the defamation suit quicker than anyone expected. Their verdict? Meghan's words weren't lies. They were opinions. Free speech, case closed, done and dusted, or so the world thought.
Documents obtained by the Post show that the hearing will now take place on September the 9th in Jacksonville, Florida.
But here's the twist. For Samantha's legal team, that dismissal wasn't a crushing defeat. Oh no, it was a golden map, a treasure chest of loopholes and lessons. Every misstep, every tiny flaw in that first attempt, they treated it like a masterclass, a detailed blueprint for revenge. And now Samantha is back, smarter, sharper, hungrier. This comeback, it's nothing short of brutal.
2023 filing. Sam had previously filed her libel lawsuit against Meghan in late 2022, 2 years after the Sussexes quit royal.
This time, Samantha's team isn't wasting time with emotional sob stories or fragile appeals about hurt feelings. Nope, they've got a ruthless strategy. They're pointing fingers at intent. Their claim? Meghan didn't just innocently speak her truth. She knew exactly what she was doing. She didn't slip. She aimed. She fired. She calculated the destruction it would cause to her half-sister's name, and she went ahead anyway. Suddenly, this isn't about family drama anymore. It's a high-stakes chess match, and every move could decide who gets ruined.
Been left livid that Sam just won't go away.
The argument is devastating in its simplicity. Meghan's words weren't impulsive. They weren't some late-night blurts of honesty. They were deliberate, cold, measured, planned. By zeroing in on intent, Samantha's lawyers are forcing the court to ask the real question. Not just what Meghan said, but why she said it. And for Meghan, that's a nightmare she never wanted to live through. Her golden defense, "I'm just sharing my story," suddenly feels paper-thin. If the judges start seeing her words as weapons rather than memories, then every carefully staged interview, every teary Netflix confession, every glossy magazine spread could transform from heartfelt storytelling into evidence of a targeted attack. Everything changed the moment Netflix dropped Meghan's 6-part blockbuster documentary. This wasn't some emotional sit-down interview where she poured her heart out spontaneously. No, darling, this was polished, scripted, edited to perfection over months, and Samantha's legal team is pouncing on it, calling it exactly what it looks like, a weaponized narrative. Now, every dramatic shot, every moody pause, every tear-streaked scene from that Netflix show is under a microscope. Samantha's team argues the series wasn't just Meghan telling her story. It was a calculated PR campaign to sculpt public opinion, making Meghan the helpless victim and shoving Samantha into the villain's chair. But here's the real dagger. It wasn't just about what Meghan said in that Netflix series. It was about the reach, the global reach. We're talking about a polished production translated into multiple languages, streamed across continents, dropped into over 200 million homes. The scale of it turned what might have been a family spat into an international spectacle. Samantha wasn't just hurt locally, she was humiliated worldwide. And that's the wound she claims cut the deepest. Insiders close to the case whisper that Samantha's legal team is nailing their point home. This wasn't an accident nor some casual overshare. It was a campaign, a carefully engineered narrative designed to crown Meghan as the misunderstood heroine while demonizing Samantha as the cruel, bitter sibling. The kicker? Meghan had months to rethink, revise, or retract her words during production. But she didn't. She doubled down. What once felt like messy, sisterly squabbling has spiraled into a full-on international legal nightmare. And get this, if the court sides with Samantha, Meghan's glossy Netflix show show may no longer be seen as harmless entertainment. It could officially be labeled as evidence of deliberate harm. For Meghan, the thought is gut-wrenching. The very media savvy that once made her an icon of storytelling, that ability to pull the world in with every word, every look, every well-timed sigh, could now be twisted into her downfall. Samantha's lawyers are framing it like this: those heartfelt moments weren't innocent. They were intentional strikes. And Meghan? She could soon be forced to watch her own Netflix masterpiece rebranded as a carefully executed smear job. And Samantha? She's not just waving rumors around. No way. She's got her team working like bulldogs. After months of digging, insiders claim they've gathered a mountain of evidence, the kind that makes even Meghan's most loyal defenders nervous. We're talking real stuff here. Leaked emails, private text messages, confidential production notes, even audio recordings. Some allegedly show Meghan and her team plotting how to frame family members on screen. Every screenshot, every timestamp, every draft script is being lined up like ammunition. This isn't just about storytelling anymore. Samantha's side says it's cold, deliberate character assassination. And this, experts warn, is the moment things get dangerous for Meghan. Before she could hide behind the shield of just sharing my truth. But if Samantha's evidence shows premeditation, that shield crumbles. Suddenly, Meghan's interviews and docuseries aren't personal accounts. They're potentially actionable defamation. Her polished confessions may now look like pre-planned attacks, and that's a shift no Duchess wants in court. And it doesn't stop there. Samantha's legal team is digging deeper, pulling together Meghan's public appearances, her curated Instagram posts, her glossy PR campaigns. Their mission? To paint a pattern. They want the court to see Meghan as someone who knew the power of her global stage and used it, ruthlessly, to maximize damage against her estranged sister. The whispers get darker. There's even chatter about Meghan's inner circle allegedly planting damaging articles in the press. If that thread is proven true, it's not just PR manipulation, it's evidence of an orchestrated takedown. The stakes? They've never been higher. For Meghan, this isn't just an inconvenient courtroom appearance. It's a potential legal minefield that could crack open the perfect public image she spent years, maybe decades, polishing. And Samantha? She's playing this like the biggest performance of her life. She isn't just accusing Meghan of lies, she's accusing her of unleashing chaos. According to Samantha's team, Meghan's words sparked something far more sinister than bad headlines. They ignited an avalanche of harassment that flipped Samantha's world upside down. The proof, they say, is undeniable. From the moment Meghan's interviews aired and that Netflix juggernaut dropped, Samantha claims she became the target of pure, vicious hate, not just a handful of trolls. We're talking hundreds of death threats, relentless stalking, doxing incidents, and smear campaigns that left her life in tatters. Her quiet world was suddenly filled with fear, with strangers knocking at the edges of her safety. And Samantha's lawyers? They've coined a term for it: influencer harassment. The idea is brutal but clear. When someone with Meghan's massive reach paints a target on someone's back, an army of loyal fans doesn't just listen, they act. Samantha's lawyers argue Meghan knew her words would rally her fan base. She knew exactly what was coming once her narrative cast Samantha as toxic and unstable. And if the court buys this, we're talking about a precedent that could shake celebrity culture to its core. Imagine it. No more hiding behind the "I'm just sharing my truth" excuse if your truth unleashes millions of fans to ruin another person's life. That's the terrifying reality Meghan may now be staring down. But Samantha isn't just demanding recognition for reputational harm. No, she's digging even deeper. Her lawyers are pulling out something much darker: emotional trauma. They claim Meghan's comments didn't just wound Samantha's public image, they scarred her very soul. Court insiders reveal Samantha's team has lined up medical professionals, therapists, and psychiatric experts. Their testimony? That Samantha now suffers from PTSD, crippling anxiety, and ongoing depression, all allegedly born from Meghan's televised attacks. This isn't about hurt feelings. They're building a case that Meghan's storytelling pushed her half-sister into a full-blown mental health crisis. And here's the twist of the knife. They have receipts, therapy transcripts, doctor's notes, prescriptions, hard evidence, not just words, but written proof that Samantha's life spiraled in the aftermath of Meghan's global spotlight. Think about how devastating that could be in court. Meghan, who built her brand on compassion, on kindness, on being a voice for the voiceless, suddenly painted as the source of another woman's psychological collapse. That contrast alone is enough to make headlines scream louder than any royal drama ever has. And if a jury buys it, Meghan doesn't just look like a sister with a grudge, she looks like a bully. And let's be real, that's a label no Duchess, no celebrity, no Hollywood darling can ever outrun. Here's where things take a terrifying turn. The lawsuit isn't stuck in he said, she said anymore. It's entered the brutal stage of discovery, the part of the process where private worlds get cracked wide open. For Meghan, this is the ultimate nightmare. Discovery means lawyers could demand her private WhatsApp chats, her carefully guarded emails, even draft scripts and internal notes from Netflix. Imagine if Samantha's team digs up receipts showing Meghan rehearsed her estranged sister narrative with advisors. Imagine if strategy notes or behind-the-scenes jokes surface. Years of carefully crafted branding, humanitarian vegetarian, feminist, victim of royal cruelty, could collapse overnight. Hollywood insiders whisper that Meghan's greatest fear isn't even losing the case. It's losing control of her story. All it takes is one leaked text, one careless email, and her entire global image could be shattered in seconds. Of course, discovery cuts both ways. Samantha isn't immune either. Meghan's lawyers are itching to scour her records, searching for contradictions, financial motives, anything to show she's exaggerating. Both sisters now stand on the edge of exposure, and neither side can guarantee what skeletons will tumble out once those digital closets are unlocked. But here's the kicker. Meghan's legal strategy isn't winning her fans. Court insiders claim her defense feels too Hollywood, too polished, more worried about optics than about hard law. In a Netflix interview, control works. In a Florida courtroom, not so much. And rumors swirl that Meghan's team is scrambling to block evidence, limit discovery, and avoid putting her under oath. Why? Because one slip under cross-examination could devastate her entire case. And that's the irony. The harder Meghan's team fights to silence evidence, the guiltier it makes her look. In a battle built on truth and lies, that's the worst corner to be backed into. So where does this leave the Duchess? Standing at the edge of a cliff. If Samantha wins, Meghan could be forced to pay millions in damages and, worse, carry the humiliating headline of being branded a liar in open court. Imagine it splashed across tabloids. Duchess exposed by a estranged sister. That sting would cut deeper than any royal snub, any palace feud, any Hollywood gossip. Because this fight isn't just about two sisters locked in a bitter war. It's about Meghan Markle's credibility, her carefully curated career, and the legacy she's desperate to protect. One wrong move in that courtroom and everything she's built, every speech, every campaign, every glossy photo op, could come crashing down. And that, darling, is the kind of fall no Duchess ever plans for.